Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know how. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we're gonna light it up tonight. We're gonna light it up tonight. We're gonna light it up just like the sunrise. We're gonna light it up now. Just like a spark that's breaking out. Can't make a stop, can't turn back now. We know that there's no room for doubt. No, we can't turn back now. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we're gonna light it up tonight. We're gonna light it up tonight. We're gonna light it up just like the sunrise. We're gonna light it up now.
I thought I hit the unmute button, but I didn't. Welcome in, everybody. It's good to see you guys. Look at Tom in here. He's just doing some, what is that? Can't even think of it. Cartwheel. Doing cartwheels in here. I love that. But welcome in, everybody. It's good to see you guys. Hey, Three Sides, I've been waiting to see ya. I've been waiting to see you. I wanted to thank you for sending that PayPal the other day. I've been like looking in the chat. I'm like, where's Three Sides? But if you've been here while I've been reading, I haven't been able to be in the chat much over the last few days. So tonight's going to be a little bit of a different live. We're not going to read tonight. We may read if you guys want to at the end, we can. But I figured we'll see where we're at with everything before we do that. But there's just some new interviews that have come out, and I wanted to go over my notes with you guys because I watched pretty much all of it. I have a couple timestamps. I might pull them up. There were some like weird comments that were made, and I just did my due diligence and looked it up. But I thought that it was pretty funny. And it's over, if you're not aware, it's over William is back in the Idaho 4 case. William, if you don't know, is a character that has just been unlocked. Apparently he knows Bryan Kohberger, and he's an Aries, and he's from Pennsylvania, and that's all we know. And he's a Marine. That's what we know. We know a little bit more since he did another interview. We know more about him. No more about Bryan, though. Nothing more. But welcome in, Ladybug and Dawn and Baby Girl. It's good to see you. Hey, Truth Mama. It's good to see you. Hey, Princess. Welcome in. Hey, Ash. Just got back to Tennessee. Oh, Dale. Oh, look, you got a new picture of Dale on there. Oh, he's looking good. Look at him. It's all spiffied up. Man, who thought that dog was underneath all that craziness? I did. I knew there was a cute dog under there. Hey, DM. That's a really cute dog. Oh, I bet you're gonna like really, really like, you know, enjoy your dog. I know you will. You guys are gonna have a lot of adventures together. Your daughter had her baby this. Oh my goodness, your first granddaughter. Oh, Mandy, that's cause for celebration. I wish I had some celebration music. I don't. Celebrate. That's a big accomplishment. First granddaughter. I mean, granddaughter. First granddaughter. Oh my gosh. I remember I'm just going to tell it really quick. My mom, when she heard her first grandson for the first time, we literally missed it by like 2 seconds. We missed that door by like 2 seconds. And my mom was like, "That's my grandbaby in there." She knew exactly which room it was. We didn't even know. We had just walked into the hospital and there's a baby crying and she's like, "That's my grandbaby." She did. She ran up to the door. She's like knocking on it and I'm like, "Oh, this is not the thing to do." My brother's poor wife, but that was her third at the time, so we'll give her credit for that since, she didn't yell at my mom, thank God. So congratulations. That's really awesome. Yeah, what's her name? I want to know her name too. Let me know. I'll go down in the chat and see. Hey, Dion. Hey, Mr. Rosebud. Hey, Squeaky. Commentary account number. First day of vacation for you? 6 weeks? Oh, look at that. That's a good vacation. Well, that's awesome. I'm glad I'm glad that you get to take time off like that, because people need it. Do you have any good plans? Are you going to go anywhere special? Hey, Mega Mama. I say that every time. I'll probably say it wrong again. I just put an E in there. I don't mean to. Hey, Wicked. Hey, Petunia. I feel like I haven't been through the chat in a little while, so I'll say hi to people tonight. Hey, Lenora. Hey, Michael. Green chili chicken. That's going to be nice. 6 weeks off. I don't know what I would do with myself. Like, I really don't know. I don't know what I would do with myself if I took 6 weeks off of YouTube. That would be like, that'd be crazy, wouldn't it? Muted. I know. I thought I hit the unmute button, but apparently my mouse didn't do it. I'm blaming the mouse. Hey, True Crime Lullabies. I'm just hoping I don't miss the name. I'm looking. You're getting ready to have a new grandbaby too. Mandy had a grandbaby. Oh, this is exciting. You're going to go around a bit in Europe, Germany, to catch a good football game is on your list. Oh, that's awesome. I need a list. I said I was going to make a list. Hey, Tony. I said I was going to make a list of things I wanted to do before I was 40, but I haven't made that list yet. I was going to do a little visual board right here. So every time I look up, I see it. Who's the alternate suspect? Well, I have 4. We're just going to start naming off everybody. I wonder if Ann Taylor came to YouTube to find her, her other alternate perpetrators. I don't know. But we did go over it last night and she did, they did redact a lot of it, but you can read in between the lines, she was saying it was like somebody that was social with the girls, that might have socialized with them even that night. And I was like, they're going to be blaming everybody. I'm like, we're going back all the way to, Jack Showalter. So 2 to 4 weeks, baby. Oh my goodness. I'm going to do a list. That's that. I need to do a list. I need a list. I'm actually, I do better when I have a list. I really do. I don't have a list tonight. That's probably my problem. But I did make some just like templates up on Canva really quick because I figured what we'll do is we're going to kind of compare interviews, let's just say. So I went through and I listened to the newest William interview. He went on a YouTuber's page and him and another girl did the questions. And my personal, this is my personal opinion, like, you know, I don't think he knows him any more than I do. I think I may know Bryan Kohberger better. I mean, in my humblest of opinions. So let me pull this up. This will help guide us because I have it kind of like written down so that way I wouldn't forget it. So this is going to be the newest William interview. And then I figured we can use this. And as we're going through the interviews tonight, because we do have interviews of people that know Bryan Kohberger, that were associated with Bryan Kohberger. We do have those interviews that we can look through and compare and see if the same person's lining up. You know what I mean? Because it's not hard to do that, to get a feel for somebody. So if I didn't know anything about this case, right? But I had to say a few things about Bryan. I think we'd all make the same assumptions, right? I mean, if you go solely based off of his trial footage or whatever, courtroom footage, he sits there with a blank, like just kind of stare, just look straight ahead. He's not menacing. He's not intimidating. He's not scary. He looks pretty normal, you know, when it comes to, you know, when you think of, I know I'm saying killers don't have a look, but I'm saying when people in general think of like a monster like this, they don't picture a PhD student, you know, they don't usually. And that's pretty much what William said. Like, really, he pretty much said what I would have said, like, or what you would have said if you didn't know, you know, anything about the case. But he's been watching YouTube, obviously. So there's a couple things that I did pick up, and we may have to play one of the clips because I forgot what I was going to say. I don't even know what I was going to say. Oh, I might have to play the clips for you guys because I didn't catch it the first time I watched it, but the second go around, in part of the interview, you know how I said he was in his mama's Pennsylvania house, and I knew it. Like, I was like, I know a lived in Pennsylvania home like that. There's nothing wrong with it, but I know that's your mom's home. Well, someone opens the door and he's like, he jumps up as fast as he can. Like, it's like some covert op, right? And he's like, I'm busy right now. And you can hear someone's voice in the background go like, sorry. And you can tell it's an older, like, it's a mature woman's voice. You know what I mean? Like, it's not somebody my age, his age. It's somebody that's like, would be our mom's age, in my humblest opinions too. It's all my opinion. But I might have to let you see that part because I laughed so hard. I was here by myself and I was in here laughing and I was like, no one's laughing with me. This sucks. So hopefully you guys will. Also, 22 minutes in before we get to the other things, because I did have something down first. 22 minutes in. That's when she comes in, I think. 24:06, he says something along the lines, and I'm going to let you guys listen to this part too. The question was like, let me see, like, how did you find out about Bryan or something like that? And he was like, when I saw him and he was the suspect, like, I don't know. I'm going to have to let you guys listen to it because the way he worded it was like when he first saw him, he couldn't believe that's the guy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like, oh, that's my friend Bryan. Oh my gosh. It was like, oh, that's the guy. Like, it just didn't make much sense. So we'll go through that too. But he did say that he said that Bryan was a pushover. He's non-confrontational. He keeps to himself. He said Bryan was in his early 20s when they met. And this is, I need to do the math more, but the math is, it's not mathin'. Like, it's just really not. We know that Bryan was born in 94. This guy was racing dirt bikes from 94 to 2003. So the year that Bryan was born, this guy was riding dirt bikes. Like, I don't know. It's just, do you guys hang out with them? I mean, that much older? I don't know. I don't usually know that people that much older than me, like to where I'm like hanging out with them this much, and you'll see how many times he says. So initial impression, he said he wasn't a threat. He says a Marine couldn't do this, so neither could Bryan. He talked about his knives. This guy, he makes knives. We saw his little short video that he did throwing the knife. I guess that's what he does. He did talk about all of his trophies, his dirt bike trophies. I don't remember what I called them, bowling trophies or something, but they're dirt bike trophies. But if you're 37, 38, he's like my age, 39, 38, 39. And you were a Marine, right? And you were a Marine. Wouldn't you be showing a medal or like an award that you got for that and not your old dusted up trophies? Like, that's just me. I mean, I'm just asking. I mean, I'd be showing my stuff for the Marines. He didn't show nothing for the Marines, just those. He was like, yeah, look at my trophies. So he's proud of them trophies. I mean, I guess I would be too. It's kind of like, it's given me, watching your old high school football movie, like VHS tapes again, like, and going back and being like, look how good I was at football. No, not really. He said that Bryan was not a hunter and that he never hunted. He said that Bryan was never in a fist fight. Well, we know he liked to beat up his friend. He said everything he would say and would be under 500 words. He said that Bryan was there for the ride, which I don't know what that meant. He said that they talked twice a week for 4 to 5 years. How is that even mathing? He said Bryan moved out there to stay clean, which we know Bryan got clean when he was like a teenager. He then said he thinks Bryan could have been buying drugs from the girls. Then he goes back to no connection. Then he goes back to, even the prosecution said there's no connection. Like, he was giving me, I felt like I was on a tilt-a-whirl tonight. He thinks the DD, the DoorDash driver, is a confidential informant for the police. He talked a lot of shit on some shit on the Gonzalez's, but he said he's sorry that their daughter died. Like, the guy has like no empathy, in my opinion. He never seen him aggressive. He only ran by himself. So, so he only ran by himself. So that guy that said he ran with Bryan, apparently not, because Bryan only runs by himself, he said. I don't think he knew this guy like he says he does, if at all. And then he said that he thinks that when Kohberger left their friend group, he thinks that's when he went to rehab. But we know that Bryan again went to rehab when he was like a teenager, because that's when he stole the phone. So I don't know. I'm just like, my good Lordy. Like, I think once he got clean, I don't think he ever went back. Like, I don't think that he relapsed or anything like that. I really don't. I think that he actually stayed clean. Sorry, is it just, I'm looking at a picture of him like right now. I'm trying to like see what I think. I don't know. I mean, maybe he did, but he would have to know somebody, like, and you would have to be pretty comfortable with that person to ask them to get you something like what he was using. You know what I mean? I don't see him asking a student to do that, because that would, that he was a TA. Like, I mean, he was already in trouble, but I think that him getting himself in trouble, and then another student actually telling on him for like wanting drugs. I, it was like two different things. I don't think that he knew that many people when he like living out there. So I don't think there'd be that many people where he would have the chance to ask. I don't know. I would be like feeling some sort of way if, I was Bryan Kohberger and I was trying to like ask somebody for like heroin, I don't know. I mean, maybe he's ballsier than me though, But but in Moscow or Pullman, like, I mean, I can see him where I grew up, but like, I don't know. And you can't just like walk into the trap. They're not going to let you just walk up in the trap. No one would ever let you just walk up in the trap. Like you would have to meet them on the street corner and they'd have to go get it from the trap, but they're not going to let you just walk up in there. If they do, you're not walking out. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's where their stash is. So I figured we would go through these interviews. I don't have them in any particular order. I do the first few, and then we'll go from there. But this was one of the first ones that came out. And this is a man that's going to speak out about Bryan Kohberger. And I can't remember what this guy's name was. But he's that older gentleman. So we'll listen to it.
Kohberger left Washington a grad student and is coming back to the inland north.
And I believe this came out January the 3rd.
West, a suspected murderer.
Of 2023.
This news came as a shock to people who knew him, and some are now speaking out on changes in his behavior and his personality that push them away. Tonight at 6, Esther Bauer has new details from a father who says both his kids grew up with Kohberger. Esther.
Well, guys, we now know the suspect's family lived in Pennsylvania. The dad I spoke with says when news broke of an arrest, his family was in shock. They still are, and just want justice for the victims.
Quite a few times, Kohberger was actually in my house, and it's, that's a pretty frightening thing to know.
Because Tom Arntz says his kids went to school with Kohberger in Pennsylvania.
He said some things are a little odd with him.
He was always
Tom. Like he had to be like the number one person in the room.
Over the years, his kids noticed changes. Tom says he used to be around 300 pounds, then lost a lot of weight, and that wasn't the only difference.
My son said he changed a little bit and he got pretty aggressive with him and mean to him and stuff, and my son broke off relations with him. He just never seen him anymore.
The last time the Arntz family saw him was when Kohberger was working as a security guard at a local school a couple years back.
When we talked to him there, everything seemed, normal. He was polite and everything. It was very, very weird to hear this stuff.
Washington State University confirms he was a PhD student at the time of the alleged murder. And Tom adds he was smart.
Very intelligent. And then, he would explain things in like a really odd way that had to be really sophisticated way of explaining stuff.
There is still so much more to explain and understand in this investigation. It's unsettling for Tom to think about how this person who they knew for years could have killed these 4 students.
Just insane.
And police are telling us DNA is what ties Kohberger to this crime.
Okay. So that's actually Casey and what's her brother's name? I forget the brother's name. But it's I'll find his interview, but it's coming up. But he was so that gentleman that we just listened to, that was the father of the best friend of Bryan, like in high school. And they were like really good friends, like growing up or something like that. And then once he lost the weight, he started like picking on him. And so he kind of retreated back and just didn't hang out with Bryan anymore. And I think that's when Bryan started doing like the drugs and stuff. And then his sister took him on, he asked her for a ride one day and she didn't realize that she was taking him to pick up like some drugs. And that's what they were doing. Craziness. So the next one that I found, which I don't know if these are totally in order, but I'm going as good as I can. January 8th. So just a few days later. Look at that. Member for 18 months. Look at that. Ladybug. Thanks. Best channel bitch channel. Best channel in chat I found. Love you all. Hey, Caught Up in Crime. I like your new name. I love that name, actually. That's a really cute name. That's like a really cute name, girl. Look at y'all. You guys are, if I ever need a new YouTube name, I'm gonna come to you guys. Be like, what should my name be? But I'll keep TitaniumBuilt. I like it. It's different. Plus, I can get usually the name on each app that I need. So, but the next one is, this is the gentleman that I was telling you guys that was really, really, that I thought was really adorable. So his name is Lawrence Jones. And he did the interview with Kaylee's mom and dad the third weekend to the investigation. So we'll go ahead and we'll listen to this here. This is going to be the guy that came out that did drugs with Kohberger. And he is now reformed. He works in recovery and helps people in recovery. I actually, I think it was yesterday or the day before, I reached out to him with a series of like questions just to ask him like about Bryan. And I asked him if he only wants, I can even show you guys the message, but I was like, only if you want to answer. If you don't want to answer, I was like, just disregard the message. But hopefully he'll answer some questions because he did know him.
Welcome back to the program. So we know the suspect was a criminal justice major. We know he was pursuing his PhD. We know that he had postings talking about he wanted to know why criminals do what they do, but who really was this suspect? So we wanted to bring in someone that knew the person in a prior life. I want to bring in someone who knew him, the suspect personally, Rich Pasqua. You worked with him for a period of time. Rich, what can you tell me about the suspect? What was he like?
He was just your average guy. I met him through some friends, and they told me that he was a little weird, and he was a little socially awkward, I guess you could say.
Okay, socially awkward.
But he wasn't a bad guy. He needed a job, so I worked at a pizza shop at that time, and they were hiring. I said, yeah, come on in and apply, and he did, and he got the job. So I worked with him for a little bit. But
was he a hard worker?
He was quiet, though.
What was conversation like with him?
What was that?
What was conversation like with him? Like when you talk with him at work, would he look you in your eyes? Did he have friends? Did he have a girlfriend at the time?
It was so long ago. It was like 2013, but he didn't have a girlfriend. I do remember that.
Did you see how old he was?
My wife went to school with him. They graduated together, and she doesn't remember him ever having a girlfriend, and I don't remember him ever having a girlfriend. And he didn't have many friends, so he like would do anything to fit in, and would do like, he just wanted to be liked by everybody. But he wasn't a bad kid. Like, he was all right. And I knew his sister. I went to school with his sister, and I knew his father worked for the school, and I believe his mother did too. But his family, they were all nice people. And, his dad was always really nice to me, very polite. But I never thought that he would do something like that.
Good copy. So we've heard from some people that surrounded him that there may have been drug use in his life prior as well. Did you know him to use drugs or anything like that, sir?
Yeah, he did use drugs. That's how I really know him too. He was a big heroin addict, and so was I. I got 6 years clean now. I work in treatment and everything, but back then I was using, and so that's how I know for a fact he was using. I've got high with him a couple times and used with him. And I remember one night we went out and his car broke down, and his dad had to come out, and he got pretty angry because his car broke down and everything, and we couldn't get what we needed that night. And I knew other people that dealt drugs, and we would deliver drugs to him a lot. And so that's when I heard about this case. I haven't heard from him in so long. And then I heard about this, and it said that he was going to college. I said, I haven't heard from him. I guess that's what he's been doing. He must have cleaned up. I know he was in and out of rehab a couple times, but he really did. He cleaned up.
A couple times,
he said. To college all these years.
Rich, I'm short on time, but I got to ask you one last question. We've heard from people that he had a track record of being inappropriate, borderline offensive to women. Did you ever see that in any of your interactions with him and interactions with women?
Not in my time knowing him. I've never seen him ever act like that towards women. I've never seen him come off that way ever towards anybody.
Yeah. Rich, thank you so much for joining the program. I'm sorry I'm short on time.
You're
Hopefully
welcome.
he'll come back.
Thank you.
I think he went on News Nation too, didn't he? Maybe. But he was really nice. And I think that he said somewhere, I heard this, I know that's why I reached out to him in particular, but that he wanted to come on these programs and wanted to be a person that, you know, we said that Bryan wasn't just like wasn't a bad guy, or, you know, that he was quiet and he was, you know, more reserved and things like that. So I'm glad he was able to with this news anchor. Now, maybe he wasn't able to with News Nation. Maybe they were trying to get him to say other things. I don't know. I just remember like hearing that. I don't know if it was from that interview. I listened to it twice, so it's still in my head. So it could be that one as well. Now the next one, this is the one with Jack Bayless, and it's a childhood friend of Kohberger's, I believe this. And then Bernard James, a former classmate of Kohberger's. So in this video. The next one I'm going to share with you. And I've been putting down like what they're kind of saying, like writing it down, so that we can go over that.
Pennsylvania. It's a long way away, but this part of eastern Pennsylvania, feels a deep connection with the Idaho college murders. That's because the suspect, Bryan Kohberger, spent his teenage years here and most of his adult life before he moved to Washington State last summer. In December, people here were hit by a fact as cold and hard as steel, the once towering industry that fueled this part of Pennsylvania. One of their own was charged in a mass murder 2,500 miles away.
So I looked it up. I typed, Idaho murders, and then like, holy crap, that's Bryan. That's Bryan. I know Bryan. It was wild to me. It's a shock, seeing someone you've known on TV.
Jack Bayless met Bryan Kohberger in 8th grade, when the two of them ran with a group of boys in this neighborhood near Albrightsville, Pennsylvania.
I want to say he wanted to be a cop since he was younger.
What kind of teenager was he?
He was pretty normal. He was definitely heavier set, and that caused issues in school, apparently.
But in high school, dramatic changes washed over Kohberger, according to several friends, including Bayless.
I believe it was the weight loss first. And I was, I want to say 14 to maybe 16, in between there was the big weight loss. I could be wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was. And then it was the drugs.
How did he get started in drugs?
He got in drugs via an acquaintance of his. It was definitely heroin. It was pretty gnarly.
Bayless doesn't know exactly when Kohberger got clean.
Last I saw him, he was pretty lucid.
But the two reconnected after Kohberger enrolled at DeSales University in Center Valley, right around the corner from Bayless's home. Kohberger's major, criminology.
He's always been kind of fascinated with kind of how the brain works and how people think and why they do what they do.
And so my senior year, I ended up in a biology class, which is where I met and interacted with Bryan Kohberger.
What were your first impressions of the guy?
Bryan seemed normal enough.
But that opinion did not last for Bernard James, a DeSales film student in 2018 when he attended a class with Kohberger.
One of the big parts of that biology class that we were in, we had a group project as a part of our final grade.
With 4 DeSales classmates on the project, Kohberger was chosen as team leader. Not surprising for the student DeSales professor Michelle Bolger called brilliant and one of the best students ever, according to an article in the Daily Mail. Dr. Bolger declined to comment to King 5. But to some classmates at the Christian University, Kohberger seemed more like a know-it-all.
The way that he came across in his speech, kind of person who has to use big words, the one always raising his hand in class.
And what happened then towards the end of this whole thing?
We're approaching the due date, and I was feeling like I was left out to dry.
Bernard James says Kohberger completed the class project without including him, resulting in a failed class in Bernard's final year at DeSales. He confronted Kohberger in the university library.
I
Wasn't
remember
that
him being
smart, Ben?
very straight-faced, very like almost emotionless with this. He kind of like a small smile on his face. Like there's more to him than it seems. Very intense stare. I remember that. I'll never forget that. Looking right into my soul almost, you know, as we were having this back and forth. Yeah, manipulative, cold.
Was he witnessing an odd personality trait or something more? After Kohberger's arrest, Bernard can't be sure.
I mean, it's not every day you expect to come into contact with someone who's accused of something like that, you know, but I see it in some ways, you know. I see the calculated side of him.
We're talking about 4 vicious stabbings here.
Yeah.
Could your friend have done this?
I hope he didn't do it. You know, I'm a big believer in innocent until proven guilty. So I hope someone I know didn't do that, you know.
Here in Pennsylvania, we've been unable to reach anyone from Kohberger's family. A public defender here who represented him during extradition proceedings has said that Kohberger looks forward to being exonerated in Idaho.
You know what I was just thinking? Lawyers tell you, right? Lawyers tell you to keep your mouth shut. That's what they tell you. Shut up. Just shut up. But did you notice how his Labar, that was his name, right? Yeah, Labar attorney. He just came out and was like, yeah, Kohberger said this, Kohberger said that. You're the attorney, even though you're not his attorney anymore. Shut your mouth. Like, shouldn't you like keep it quiet like all the time? You know, I don't know. It's very crazy. So let me move this over here. And then there's more interviews, of course. It says childhood friend, Idaho murder suspect reveals new details. Let me make sure this is. Oh, this is the one that has the picture of him where he's like on rugs. So, let me share this with you. This one came out January 1st. I should have started with this one. So sorry. I like to go in order too, but I was just like trying to put them up, the tabs up, because I had to listen to the hour and 40-minute live again for the second time. Didn't learn anything new. I thought I would, but I didn't.
Appear before a judge this week following his arrest in the Poconos. He's accused in the murders of 4 University of Idaho students back in November. Well, tonight, the Kohberger family has released a statement following the news of his arrest. ABC's Kana Whitworth has that, plus what a childhood friend had to say about the suspect.
Tonight, Bryan Kohberger's childhood friend Thomas speaking to ABC News, describing the Idaho murder suspect as mean in high school, saying Bryan was eager to be seen as dominant.
He would just like put me in, he would like grapple me and like put me in headlocks and arm bars and stuff like that.
Kohberger's family releasing a statement which reads in part, "First and foremost, we care deeply for the 4 families who have lost their precious children. There are no..."
I have a question for the Kohbergers if they're listening. Do you still think that? Because you said you weren't going to help the prosecution in any way. So I was just wondering.
Words that can adequately express
the if it was the other way around.
We have fully cooperated with law enforcement agencies in an attempt to seek the truth and promote his presumption of innocence. The small community in Moscow terrified for weeks after roommates Kaylee Gonzalez, Madison Mogan, Xana Kernodle, and her boyfriend.
Have they, though? I mean, I'm just wondering. Have they worked with investigators? I wonder that. Like, or is it just more of like just Ann Taylor talking to her? Because, I mean, they probably don't have. I mean, you know, I don't know if they have to technically talk to investigators. I mean, they could say they just didn't know any of it.
And Ethan Chapin were found stabbed to death in their off-campus home in mid-November. Kohberger's lawyer saying Bryan's father flew from his home in the Poconos to Washington State for a pre-planned cross-country road trip back home to Pennsylvania for Christmas in that white Hyundai Elantra.
Driving cross-country took them approximately 2.5 days. Mr. Kohberger indicated that Bryan was acting normal and not out of character on the drive back from Washington.
The car seized from the Kohberger's home after Bryan was arrested early Friday morning.
And can you imagine that drive back, how uncomfortable that would be? Like he's a big guy. His dad is a big guy. I don't know how tall he is. Every bit as tall as Bryan, 6 foot, I'd say, but twice the size of him. And can you imagine sitting in a little car like he has? Like, I don't think that would be, oh my God, that'd be terrible. That'd be terrible. Like, I mean, I judge the seats when I get in the car. I do. I'm like, can I take a nap in this car? Is this a nappable car? That is not a nappable ride right there.
Monroe County Chief Public Defender saying Kohberger is eager to return to Idaho and be exonerated. Police in Moscow say they're confident they arrested the only person responsible for the murders. Still, they're searching for a murder weapon they describe as a fixed blade knife. The police chief saying the community has a name and a face, and now they're hoping more people will come forward with information.
We have a lot of work to do still. We still have a lot of pieces we have to put together. That's why we're still asking people, if you have known this individual, contact us.
And Chief Fry telling me that within an hour of releasing Kohberger's name, more than 400 tips poured in. Kohberger's lawyer also confirming to us that he remained there in Pullman, working towards his PhD until mid-December. He's now set to face a judge in Pennsylvania Tuesday and is hoping to be quickly extradited to Idaho after that. Kana Whitworth, ABC News, Philadelphia.
Yeah, we watched him on that little chopper he got on. So, I mean, if he didn't like to fly, he was really hating that, you know? Yeah, Betsy does look like that. Like, go clean the backyard, or that's what he says. That's probably what he says he's going to go do so he can get out of the house. Well, if I'm driving, I try not to nap, you know, but sometimes I do. I just nap. I just take a little nap, you know? I'm just kidding. They do have those self-driving vehicles now, though. Those things scare the crap out of me. I ain't doing that. I ain't doing it. Okay, so let's go to the next one. These are all kind of like short. So Bryan Kohberger's arrest, former friend of suspected killer speaks out. This is going to be Casey Arnaz, the one that we just heard from like over the phone. That was her brother, and then this is going to be her here. I think she actually put out like her own TikTok video on this. I don't know if it's still even up. Oh, sorry, guys. I thought I had it on the right page. I'm like, why is it not showing you guys? Sorry.
Of 4 Idaho college students. For people like Casey Arntz, the news of the arrest hits close to home. Her mom calling to break the news.
And she said the person they arrested was Bryan Kohberger. And immediately I freaked out naturally. I went back inside work and I called about 8 of my friends because it was terrifying. It was a shock because there's literally 7 billion people in this world and I know him. I was friends with him. Like, that's terrifying.
Arntz lives in Virginia Beach, but grew up in the Poconos and attended Pleasant Valley High School. She tells us she became friends with Bryan Kohberger through her younger brother during their time in school.
We just hung out and talked, and that's what it was. It wasn't anything crazy, just a typical friendship.
Arntz says she hopes his arrest will shed more light on the case for the sake of the 4 victims and their families.
I didn't want to think about what even happened out there. I just want the family.
Well, I mean, what kind of, actually, I'm going to stop this for just a second. Like, what kind of, now that we're going back through these, I'm like, hold on. Are you, okay, I don't get it. I mean, I know that he was friends with her brother, but like, usually you're not friends with your brother's friends. You know what I mean? So I think that's probably why she probably doesn't have that many interactions with him.
To have some type of like
just answers to questions that they don't have. And I know that we won't get those answers, or they won't get those answers until they actually hear from him. And the police release that information. And it's just, I want them to have clarity, and I want them to be able to have peace after all this is said and done.
Kohberger remains locked up here at the Monroe County Correctional Facility. Emily Kress, Newswatch 16.
Is she outside the school? That's what it looks like. I wonder if that's Pleasant Valley. I'm assuming that's what it is. Okay. Did I tell you? I have to look on the date on that one. This one is 2 years ago as well. So it was. Dang, how did they get this? This was December 30th. Like, man, they weren't messing around over there at News Nation. I'm trying to see who they talked to. Oh, this is the one with the guy that ran with Bryan Kohberger. So let me, oops, didn't mean to do that. And this is from 2 years ago.
Continues now of the arrest and the murders of 4 Idaho college students. Correspondent Evan Lambert has been looking into the background of the suspect, this man, 28-year-old Bryan Christopher Kohberger. Evan joins us live from Washington, D.C. with these new details. So, Evan, what all have you been able to uncover?
Well, Nicole, we're starting to get a better picture of Bryan Kohberger through online and other records, but also from someone who says that he knew Kohberger, our affiliate in Pennsylvania, speaking with a man who says that some years ago he ran with Kohberger on a regular basis. Listen to his reaction to the news that Kohberger was arrested and charged for these murders in Moscow, Idaho.
I used to go on night runs with him because, like, I didn't want to go running at night by myself. So I would text him like, "Hey, you want to go for a run?" We go for 6-7 mile runs at night. So like when I saw who it was, I was just in like complete shock. I'm still kind of like shaking knowing about that. Like, it's just unreal to think somebody could actually do that to somebody. Like, it's absolutely like mind-boggling. Like, my adrenaline's still kind of running after finding that information out. So just I feel for the families, and I'm just happy justice can be served now. So.
And we have also learned that Kohberger studied criminal justice at an advanced level, having gotten a master's from DeSales University in Pennsylvania in 2022, according to the school. There, he appears to once have posted on Reddit asking for volunteers for a research project where he was studying the criminal mind, and he wanted to know specific things about the emotional and psychological considerations for people who had been convicted of crimes, asking questions in a survey like, why did you choose that victim? What was the first move that you made? How did you leave the scene? So very eerie, knowing he is now accused of going through all those thoughts, having committed 4 murders, according to police. Now, he is currently a PhD candidate in criminal justice at Washington State University in Pullman, which is very close to Moscow, Idaho. A friend telling News Nation that he went to Pleasant Valley High School in the area near the Poconos. This is near that scene where he was arrested this morning. A news article from the local paper and school district documents tell us that he later worked there as a security guard. So a strange background for someone to now be accused of such gruesome crimes. Now, we also were able to confirm through county records out in Idaho that someone of the same name, same age, so it appears to be this suspect Kohberger, had been stopped on a seatbelt violation in August. So if these charges against him are true, that means that he would have at least been in the Moscow, Idaho area at least twice. Nicole?
And Evan, you confirmed that he did receive a master's from DeSales University there in Pennsylvania. That's also where he received his bachelor's degree as well, 2 years prior.
Yeah, so a bachelor's degree in 2020, graduating in 2020 in psychology. Then he went on to study criminal justice, criminology for a master's, according to the program for the commencement in May 2022. The school telling us in a statement that he graduated in June 2022, but we were able to find that document as well. And then we know he was continuing his studies in Washington State, really just across the Idaho state line as a PhD candidate in that same subject, criminology and criminal justice.
Yeah, criminology, criminal justice, and a bachelor's degree in psychology. All very interesting tidbits there. All right, Evan Lambert live for us in DC. Thank you. Thank you for watching.
Oh, I got her that time, so they didn't like yell at you guys. I was going to try to pull up the Christian Martinez one. I know there's that one. I know that there's a couple more, but those are people that knew him over in the Pullman side. So I'm trying to stick over to the Pennsylvania side. I am going to look through though and see if I can find any more. I know that there's this one here that I have like two more. No, I have one more that I know of. So I'm going to keep a lookout though. This is a former student though of him. So, but it'll give us some idea, about his change in behavior after the murders.
It was pretty crazy. I mean, I was, just like sleeping here on the couch in my parents' house, and I woke up to all these tweets that were like, oh, they got the guy. And of course, this has been something that everyone in Pullman has been following, everyone in the whole Pullman, Moscow area. And so, I look on my phone and I see the guy's name and I see the picture and I'm thinking, that looks a lot like my TA who's also named Bryan, but that would be crazy. And so I went and I checked my email, to see the emails I'd had with him and the name matched and everything. And yeah, it was just like totally jarring, totally shocking to realize that this person that had been, kind of grading my papers was, allegedly this like horrible murderer. Entirely. All our interactions came in the form of the class, and not even like office hours. Like it was all within the confines of a lecture hall. He was pretty strict as far as grading goes. When he came into class, he was very, not super mentally present. He would stand up at the front, look at the ground. He had a lot of like boilerplate responses he would give people rather than, maybe something he had thought up on the spot. It seemed like he would be, he'd come in knowing what he was going to say to like most interactions. And then when he would grade your papers, he would be grading you on what he ended up calling like a higher standard. But what it really felt like to us was he was grading us like he would have graded himself as a PhD student. And so that was just kind of like, we were all annoyed by him. And so I knew his name, I knew like, oh, TA Bryan, like he sucks to this. Like he's grading us too harshly. And that was like an annoyance. But obviously beyond that, we just thought he was a little weird and kind of, a bad grader.
I'm like, where's the question? I don't think we can hear the questions to him or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what
he
it
actually
is.
only left me good comments, which is just kind of silly. Like the only ones I could send in were nice ones, but for most people, he was being pretty harsh in the comments. For whatever reason, he was being pretty good to me.
Mia, what are you doing?
Yeah, actually, we had our professor was big on the idea that like, if we're all going to be attorneys someday, then we have to know how to argue our case. And so he scheduled a day where everyone, came in ready to argue to get their grades up, and he brought in Bryan and he was like, all right, go at him. And he had Bryan stand up and everyone was, like a few people were on his side because they wanted to keep their high grades and not like have questions be cut out or whatever. But for the most part, it was like, half of a 150 person class just asking him all these real critical questions and he would answer. And he tried pretty hard to defend himself, which was the kind of thing that our professor loved. He wanted the like courtroom environment. And so, so there was just a period of class where we were all sort of arguing about this. It wasn't like yelling or anything, but it was certainly conflict,
Wish we could hear the questions. I didn't know that you couldn't hear the questions in this one. You can kind of tell what they are by his
It
answers.
would have been about a month before winter break when like the murders happened. And we didn't obviously build our framework for this around that because we had no reason to connect him to that, at the time. But definitely around then, he started grading everybody just 100s. Not like you pretty much if you turned something in, you were getting high marks. And he stopped leaving notes. It was just he seemed preoccupied is what I would have said at the time. And now obviously he seems like he was probably pretty preoccupied, but But it was much easier. You turn in whatever you wanted pretty much, and he was just braiding them up and sending them back. Like, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
It's not too much longer.
He probably that I saw, he was always a little bit spotty on whether or not he'd come to class because he had, whatever PhD stuff over the top of it. But the couple times that he did come after or around that time period, I remember him, he had like a little bit more facial hair, just like stubble, but definitely less like well kept than he was. And he was a little quieter. He didn't, he used to stand up at the start of class and like talk about some stuff sometimes. And this time he didn't really do that at all. He was definitely, I think, like the previous like mental preoccupation that we had been noticing, where it was like, he didn't really want to be there. That was at like an all-time high, and he just, didn't look like he was doing great.
Oh, I'm like, he ain't talking anymore. Okay, so there was just a couple things I wanted to go over in that interview with you guys about, and I'm not even going to pull it up. I'm just going to tell you what it was. So the person that was on the interview, that was conducting the interview, I was kind of like skipping through towards the end, and I just skipped on this part. And she said, I don't really know why Judge Hippler is assigned this case. He has never done a death penalty case before, and that he works in mental health, mental health something. I'm going to say mental health litigation. That's what I'm going to call it. Absolutely not. I don't know where she got that information from, but Judge Hippler is the administrative district judge for the 4th Judicial District, which encompasses Ada, Boise, Elmore, and Valley counties. In addition to his administrative duties, he is the district judge for Ada County, where he handles felony cases and civil cases exceeding $10,000 or more. So anything $10,000 or more goes to him. Anything $10,000 low, or lower goes down to the lower court. So, yeah, I don't know why they said that, but I don't even know what a mental health judge is. I couldn't even tell you what they were even talking about with that. But so if you ever hear something like funky, even if it's me that says it, because I'll be saying some funky stuff, Google it. Just Google it. Like, just take the 2 seconds. If you're like, seems off, it probably is. It probably is. It probably is off. I mean, we all make mistakes, You just keep it moving, I guess. But when someone is so, saying that everything is, corruption and all this and that, I mean, no, this is misinformation. So I wonder how many cases he's actually done that were death penalty. I don't know that. I don't know if it would tell me like on Google, but it might. Has Judge Hippler presided over? Never a death penalty, but he did consider a petition for post-conviction relief in a death penalty case. Wait, hold on. Let me see. I don't want that. I want something from an actual site. Well, there's got to be something on him. I don't know if this. Okay, never mind. Why doesn't it just come up with an answer? Let's go to AI. Let's see if maybe AI will know. I hate AI. I really do. Just Bryan's. But I wonder how many. I mean, that's not, I guess that wouldn't be like unheard of, right? Because if you think about it, it would have to be like northern Idaho, or no, it'd have to be Boise, Wonder how many DP cases come through there every year in Idaho. Probably not. I mean, I wonder how many people I think they have what, like 6 people on death row. Let's look, because we did look them up one night. Remember, they were a bunch of they were some scary people. Death row inmates in Idaho. So they have 9 residents, 8 on Idaho maximum security and 1 at the Women's Correctional Center. So, and I think like where was that? I wonder if I could find that that same. I want to try to find that same like site kind of, so I could show you, because it was like what is this? Their pictures and their names. So he has Thomas Creech execution for November 13th. Did it already happen? Because this is from October 16th, 2024. I thought that they did have one that they carried out, but I don't know. I have to look into that. Now I'm wanting to look into it. I think they did. Now this is just telling me, now it's saying February 28th, Idaho's longest serving death row inmate to be executed today. So do you guys know if he was? I thought he was. But I think he was on death row for like 40 years before he was like executed. So, I mean, it wasn't like, and I know Chad Daybell's on there. Let's see, who are the 8? Okay. These are some scary looking people. You're not getting my email address. Okay. Let me pull this up. So we got this guy here. Creech was already on death row for beating a fellow inmate to death with a sock full of batteries in 1981. Oh, you seem nice. The incident landed Creech on death row for a second time. So what happened? He was already on the, hold on. Okay, we got to go back up. It's been nearly 12 years since the last time Idaho executed a prisoner on death row, but the state's next execution could happen soon. This is from January 30th, 2024. So it's a little older bit. It says the Idaho Commission of Pardons and Parole Board recently denied clemency for an inmate that's been for 40 years. Told you he's been on there for 40 years. So 40 years of his life. Look at them eyes. Don't look right into him. That's the devil there, honey. The ruling came just days after Thomas Creech was connected to a 1974 California cold case. Then why is he in Idaho jail? Oh, okay, never mind. He was already in jail. I'm sorry. San Bernardino police believe that Creech was an unknown suspect that killed a motorist named Daniel Walker while he was sleeping in his van along I-40. Creech was already on death row for beating a fellow inmate to death with a sock full of batteries in 1981. The incident landed Creech on death row for a second time. He'd previously been on death row for killing 2 men in Valley County in the 1970s, but that sentence was reduced to life in prison. Oh my God. So you get lucky like that, right? You're on death row and they commute you down to life in prison. That means you have so many things that open up for you as a prisoner. You can be a general population, you can get better food, you can do all the things. You can go outside. Instead of just like, sticking to himself and staying cool and staying, keeping his hands out of the sock full of batteries, he decided to beat another inmate with a sock full of batteries. It says Creech's legal team believes that he's turned his life around in prison and should have his sentence reduced to life in prison again. They ain't going to fool me once, shame on you. You know the drill. It says that Governor Little said our court system convicted Creech and he was lawfully sentenced to death. As governor, I have zero intention of taking any action that would halt or delay Creech's execution. His lawful and just sentence must be carried out as ordered by the court. Justice has been delayed long enough. I mean, so you think 40 years for Bryan Kohberger? I mean, that's 40 years that the victims didn't have, allegedly. I'm just saying if it happens that way. Will he get the firing squad? Nope. There's Chad Daybell. We all know what he's charged with. I don't know why they're showing Bryan Kohberger, but he's not the 8th one. Now this is the next guy. He was the one that killed his wife, wasn't it? Yeah, he suffocated his wife before setting their family home on fire. She wanted a divorce. There were 4 children in the home when he set it on fire. 2 older kids went to get a neighbor's house for help. To get a neighbor, they meant. The neighbor rescued an infant from the burning home. Another child under 2 was found safe in the backyard. Oh, wow. So he only ended up killing the mom. Wow, you tried to get your whole family. Now this guy looks familiar. Timothy Dunlap. I don't know. I said this the first time. I don't know how I know this guy, but I must have watched something on TV about him. In 1991, Dunlap robbed a Security State Bank in Soda Springs. Tanya Crane was the teller behind the counter that day. She handed him close to $32,000. This is back in 91, so. But he still shot her from less than 2 feet away. Murderpedia explains that Crane was the second woman that he murdered that year. 10 days before the bank robbery, Dunlap took his girlfriend on a picnic in Ohio, blindfolded her like he had a surprise for her, and then shot her in the neck and head with a crossbow. That's probably how I know him, because the Ohio connection. Seems like a gentleman, you know? I can't stand people. James Hairston, at the age of 19, look that 19, man, that's young. He robbed and killed a couple in their 70s at their farmhouse. You freaking coward. The judge believed that he got a rush out of shooting people and he would do it again. So, wow. Hairston shot the husband in the head as he was sitting at his kitchen table before shooting the wife. You son of a bitch. They got away with $30 in cash, credit cards, and personal property, which they pawned. Well, it ain't ever worth it, but was it worth the $30 freaking dollars? Like, I mean, that's sick. Eric Hall. We're going to know them all now. He's got some mean eyes, too. He's got some mean looking eyes. Many of us use the Boise Green Belt without a care in the world or being overly concerned for our safety, but every time an incident happens near it, people say, "Do you remember the flight attendant that was murdered on the Green Belt?" The flight attendant was Lynn Henneman, and Eric Hall was the one who killed her in 2000. Hall strangled her with her own sweater and raped her. He killed Cheryl Hanlon in a similar manner and left her body in the foothills 3 years later. Look at this guy smiling. Look at them 1980s glasses. Those are like 70s, really, aren't they? And that hair, too. Why do you look like Ron Jeremy? Gerald Pizzuto? Sorry, but you do. So he murdered Berta Herndon and her nephew, Dell Herndon, in a cabin north of McCall. He initially approached them with a rifle before tying the pair up so that he could rob them. The crime escalated when he beat them to death with a hammer and also shot Herndon between the eyes. Oh my gosh. Trying to get it. His legal team's made several appeals. He has an IQ of 70 or below. He scored a 72 before he was sentenced. So sorry. Nope, 70 or under. He scored a 72. He don't get that. And we're not on a sliding scale. We don't work on a sliding scale over here. Wow. I guess he has terminal bladder cancer. And his lawyers tried to get his death sentence changed to life without parole since he was already dying of natural causes. Well, you might as well, I'd say just go ahead, carry out my execution. I mean, this guy looks scary too. Jonathan Renfro shot a Coeur d'Alene police officer after the officer stopped him while he was walking through a neighborhood that had seen an uptick in car break-ins. You know. You know, he was probably doing that. His legal team argued that he never planned to kill the officer, just shoot him in his bulletproof vest. Oh, that's all I was trying to do. That's the dumbest defense I have ever heard. That's even dumber than I was looking at the stars. That's who was his lawyer? Who said that for him? I mean, I would love to know. Like, really. Like, I'm about to look that up. If it's Ann Taylor, I'll fall out of my seat. This was a while ago, it looks like, though. Doesn't say when, but he just, I don't know, looks like older picture. There's Thomas Creech again. Oh, and then there's the only woman. It's like they stop in time. Does she still look like this back from 92? Because this is 80s. This isn't even early 90s. We're not going to say this is early 90s. We're not doing that. I was born in the 80s, like in the 80s, and this is definitely 80s. So what mother could kill her own children? The answer in Idaho is Robin Rowe. In 92, she set her family home on fire, leading to the carbon monoxide poisoning deaths of her husband, her 10-year-old sons. Apparently she had twins because 10-year-old sons and 8-year-old daughter while they were sleeping. She killed him to collect the insurance money from outrageous policies she took out on her family. Some believe that she may have killed 2 of her other children in the late 70s and early 80s. Hell yes, she killed them. If they're dead, she did it. I mean, we ain't even got to try to guess at that. We're not even sure that we have to get too in depth with why Daybell is on death row. He and his wife, Lori, their crimes were focused on national news for months. Daybell was found guilty of first-degree murder for the deaths of his first wife, Tammy, and Lori's kids, Tylee Ryan and JJ Vallow. A great deal of evidence showed that the couple had extreme religious beliefs and thought their family members were possessed by dark spirits. Now, you know, if they were possessed with dark spirits, right, they believed that like the 144 is going to heaven anyway, right? So if they're bad spirits, right, you know for sure they ain't going to get into heaven if there's only 144 of you ever getting in, 144,000. I mean, he just... These prophets, they don't think straight. They don't think. I don't know how people believe this crap, but she believed it. And then I don't think this is. That's a John Wayne Gacy house. Now that's the house. Now look at that. I wouldn't even. Don't put my house on top of it. I ain't living on it. No. This little article's crazy though. It's like got all kinds of little stuff in it. Look, we've got the house. And then we've got the Amityville Horror House. Then, and look, it's the same thing. It's the same house. Nope. Black Dahlia. That's where they found her. Wow. Just right on the side of the road. Oh, Waco. And then Waco now. Not really now, it's not still on fire, but you know, you got it. Jamestown then. Jamestown now. Nobody's there now. Craziness. Did they oh yeah, they did take that Sharon Tate's house down. It's a private residence not visible from the street. Jeffrey Dahmer's place then and now. The Bianca murder house then. Doesn't show you in the now. You can still stay in there. Like you can go stay in the Lizzie Borden house. I'm cool with that. Like I'm okay. I'm okay. You know what? I could not get Vincent to stay there if I paid him $1 million, literally $1 million for one night. He would not do it. He would say, sorry, go ahead. He would not. He would not do that. He doesn't like I like wrought iron beds, like the old iron beds. I think that they're cool and they have character, but he thinks they're like possessed. He's like, those are like witches' beds. And just like, Dolly and PJ stayed in Lizzie's room. Mm-mm. See, but Dolly's just as crazy as Lizzie. No offense, Dolly. I'm just kidding. Like, if Lizzie could be scared of somebody here on Earth, it probably would be Dolly. Talking to Dolly, having a conversation with Dolly, that would be pretty scary. I'd be like, I'm just gonna stay over here in my corner. I'm just gonna, haunt you from my corner over here. Your husband would go see Vincent would not, no way, Jose. Nope. No. He would say the wallpaper freaks him out. I could just tell by the picture what would freak him out. I mean, I think it's cute, but that's just me. Like, I would like to go there. Now, I don't know if I'd stay the night. I probably would. If I had enough, anxiety medicine. I had like enough to get me through, right? I do want to go to the Cecil Hotel though when we're in LA sometime. When we can go and maybe take like a lift down there or something, and take it right on through and right on back or something. The H.H. Holmes Murder Castle. Oh, it's still there. It's the same building. It's like, I know it's like not as tall, but no, it looks like a different building, I guess. Or no, these are the two, same right here. Or no, this is the high school. Sorry. I keep like wanting to go, I'm like, which ones go together? So Columbia High School then. I guess that's supposed to look like what it looks like now. It looks the same. They really didn't do too much. I'm just like going through these with you guys because I think it is fun. Wonderland Murder Site. See, I don't remember the Wonderland. 4 people were bludgeoned to death in a split-level home on Wonderland Avenue, section of Hollywood. See, I could go there. Wonderland Murder Site now. Looks spooky. The hotel's nice. John Lennon Murder Site. Wow, that looks exactly the same. Even like the street lamps. They're just clear because they like cleaned them or something. Or maybe they got new ones, but I can't even say this. What is this? How do you say this word?
Rajanishpuram.
Rajanishpuram. Religious community. Wow. Now look at it. It's beautiful. Son of Sam. Wow, there's a lot of interesting things to look at. Why do people that have so much money have the ugliest furniture? Like, do they do that stuff on purpose? Do they go into the store and they're like, okay, we're customizing our furniture. What's the ugliest pattern you have in here today? Versace. My God. Your clothes were beautiful, but your house was ugly. Not the outside of it. I don't know. I'm just not into the sculptures and stuff. I'm just not into that kind of stuff. Maybe it's just me. Or the gold. I'm just not into the gold. Look at these things, these knots on the back of this chair with the... What the... What are you going to do? Tie someone up to the chair? I've been in true crime too long. Don't they look uncomfortable? Would not want to sit on that. That'd be that furniture you don't want to. That'd be like, is this the room we don't touch? You know, like in Midwest homes, everybody has that extra living room that you just don't touch the furniture in that living room. We didn't have one of those growing up. We weren't rich like that. We consider people that had money with people that had two like living rooms. We only had one living room. But with that said, you know, we could do whatever we wanted in there. But my friends, on the other hand, their moms all had the nice living room, like the one you don't touch, don't breathe in it, don't walk in it. Like if you have to get through to the other side of the house, go through the back door. It was all of mine friends were like that. I'm Italian, but I'm not loving it. I'm not loving it. Now, this little guy looks comfortable with the little seat there. The ottoman. Look at the house. It's beautiful. What is it, a restaurant now? It's a hotel. Tupac murder site then. Now, probably looks the same. Oh, look at this. You should just let that man watch his show. He wasn't doing nothing to nobody, just wanting to watch his show. Oh, look at that. I wonder if her her grave is still like really done up, like, you know, if her dad, I'm sure her dad put stuff like flowers on her grave, but I wonder if like people still bring trinkets and stuff. I'm sure that they do. I don't know if I'd want to live in that house. Actually, I wouldn't. I wouldn't want to. There's a lot of different articles in here. My dad went to the JFK site. He actually like stood in the middle of the road and took a picture or something where it happened. Axe murder house. June of 1912. But the case remains on what? 6? Okay, how many? The axe murders took place in June of 1912. And the case remains unsolved to this day. All 6 members of the Moore family, as well as 2 guests, were found bludgeoned on the floor. 8 victims had severed head wounds from what appeared to be an axe. While there were several suspects, one of whom was tried twice, no one was arrested. Wow. Yeah, like see that I ain't going in there. Like that's a 1912 house already. Oh, that's sad. I think that was all of them. Yeah, it was. I don't know what these are. Actually, murder and yeah, I don't know what those are, but whatever it was, that was interesting to go through. That's all I really had for you guys anyway. So I was like, should be called a non-living room. It should. My friend's mom had one, and like she might have had 2 actually. One, no, she had. Hell, she might have kicked her dad to the other room or something. But yeah, they had a couple. I would put some comfy couches in that house if I lived there. I have the comfiest couch. I really do. I never sit on it. I need to. I need to sit on it more. I'm going to do that more. But I'm like, I just never sit down unless it's really in here. You guys are talking about some good creators, like song creators. My mom liked Fleetwood Mac. That was there's a few songs that I like. If they come on the radio, I have to turn it like real quick because it'll make me like sad. But then it just depends on my mood, I guess. Because you know, if I'm like cleaning or something, then I can listen to them. Hi, Chloe. I think that's all I have for you. I have more stuff we can go over tomorrow night. Yeah, what do I have up here? I don't even know what I got. I just have like just tabs everywhere, it seems like, but they have gotten smaller, so that's good. And then somebody asked me if I would go over everything like closer to trial. And I think they mean like the timeline. So I definitely will. So wow. 1986. I bet that was amazing. I would have been a year old. I would have rocked out with you though. Oh, I'm sorry, baby girl. Fleetwood Mac reminds you of your mom too? Yeah, mine too. And then when I was young, what's that song? California by the Eagles. She would always play that on the jukebox because it was the longest song on the jukebox. And my mom was going to get her money's worth, her quarter or whatever she put in there. But I think she played that song because I think that's how long it took her to like vacuum or something. You know what I mean? I think she timed it up with something. But that's like, there's just certain songs like I'll hear and it'll remind me of my mom or my dad. And like Vincent doesn't listen to music like I do. Like he doesn't listen to it hard. It's rare. Like it's very rare that I get in his car and the radio on. You know what I mean? Like me, I have to make sure everything's turned down and off before I get out because I'm like, oh, we'll blow his eardrums. Oh, and earlier tonight, I don't know what it was. I need to ask him. It sounded like Mia. Okay, so it sounded like this dog back here. All I heard was like a scream, like a dog scream. Do you know what like a pain? I'm in pain. And I was sitting here and I jumped up and this chair almost fell backwards. It's heavy. And I was like, what was that? I thought it was Mia, like over here, like dying. Like literally it sounded like that. And it was out in the hallway, I guess. So I hope everyone's dog's okay. There's no old dogs. We have the oldest animals. So I hope they didn't like smash his little tail in the door or something, but music does heal the soul. If I'm like ever in a mood where I don't want to do anything or I'm really like bleh, I'll put music on. And then literally I'm instantly up and doing stuff. So it really does. My mom and dad were always huge on music. My dad played instruments and my mom could whistle better than anybody in this world. That woman could whistle. I used to be able to whistle so good, but when they wired my mouth shut, they took my whistling abilities away. But yeah, my dad sang and stuff too. I mean, like they would always have fun doing it. So yeah. Yeah, music does take you back. Ash is in the log cabin in the AC. She's like, I'm in the AC. Yeah, it does take you back to the time and the memories. Oh, Jimmy Page and Robert Plant. I'm glad you got that experience, Cirrus. I want to camp out. And someone will camp out with me probably. I got him to go one time. But we have a 2-person tent, so that could be that could put a damper on things when you have two big dogs that want to go in there with you. So we need to glamp it up a little bit. Happy Friday. Oh, thanks, Ashley. I have tons of them. Let me tell you. I've got tons of good stories. I think I'm going to jump off here. I was going to come on and do a live today, but then I got so dang busy. And now I feel like today is Saturday. Like my days are all mixed up. So I'll be back on tomorrow. And what we're going to, we'll do the book. And then if we hear anything else, of course I'll, let you know anything that I hear. And I'm trying to see if there was anything else. I don't think I did put everything into this, like into the little Bryan Kohberger this little thing here. So we'll go over it on our next live and I'll try to see if I can think of some more things that go in there. Now, do I think William is Bryan Kohberger's friend? Do I think he knows him? Absolutely. I don't think he does. But that's just me. I mean, I've been wrong before. I guess I have. I don't think I've been really wrong when it's come to Bryan Kohberger's friends coming out though on the platform. Yeah. They've all been frauds. The one on T-Revs, wasn't Bryan. Remember, I showed you the video of that. And then we've had, Justin come out and say things. We've had WSU mom Kim say things. We've had everybody say things. I think it'll just get crazier before it's going to get better, because I think everyone's going to be speculating because of the trial. I will say this, last night when we read the documents, we're back on that redacted, not completely sealed. I think he's given us a little leeway, because, we're supposed to all be grounded from the Dateline episode, which we didn't do that. So, I mean, the documents that did come out, they were redacted, but we did get them. So that's nice. But thank you guys for being here. I'll be back on tomorrow. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening, and I will see you guys tomorrow. I may do a live on my second channel. I want to start doing 2 lives a week on the second channel during the day, and then, or like mid-evening, like 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock before this live. But we'll talk about all of that. I'll get it all written down, and I'll be on with a live to do it, to tell you about it. So bye, guys.
Just like the street lights lit the